Hello and welcome to a very special edition of New Kids on the Block. The reason why it's special is, well, we've changed around our format a little bit. Usually on New Kids on the Block, you just have student union leaders and we discuss the days and the weeks, big stories with the future politicians, future political leaders. But today, in a turnaround, they join me, student union leaders join me in interviewing our special guest, that's Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Thank you, ma'am, for being here.
Thank you.
And yes,
thanks very much.
Also why it's special is because we're in Jawaharlal Nehru University and Nirmala Sitharaman is from here. So it's a special coming back to your own college. And I believe you did your masters over here.
That's right. Masters, my MPhil and also my PhD. Submitted my thesis, went away, but didn't come back to defend my thesis. So I don't have a PhD as yet. But yes, an MA, MPhil.
Let me introduce you to some of our main interviewers as well, because New Kids on the Block is all about young student union leaders and getting a perspective, fresh perspective on, you know, what they're thinking about. We have from ISA and a former student union, part of the JNU Students Union, we have Ramanaga. From BAPSA, which is an Ambedkar students group, we have Bhopali and Vivek. From NSUI, we have Sunny Dhiman, and from ABVP, we have Abhijit Dwivedi. So all of them will be joining me. They'll be asking questions as well. I wanted to start off by asking you, ma'am, that at a time when we are seeing a lot of political parties, most of them now standing against you and telling the government you've done something wrong, you've made a mistake, does the government then feel isolated?
Well, if the arguments that they are putting forth are substantial to make us think, yes, we would have felt, oh my God, have we done something wrong? But now, after one full day's discussion in the Rajya Sabha, and maybe extended to all that they speak outside too, we are not able to see as to where they are. Are they with people who are having black money, against whom action was demanded of us? Or are they with the people of India saying, yes, we need to cleanse our system, we need to do something, sometimes drastic, but it's not as if the government is, not sensitive to the difficulties people are undergoing. We are trying to do something to clear it at the earliest. But to question the very motive behind the decision, to me, is ill-informed.
So the motive is right, but when they say that, look, you know, you want to get back black money, but to get back a fraction of the black currency or the black economy, to attack only a fraction of it, that you upset or inconvenience a large number of people, and they've particularly gone by the poor. They're saying it is anti-poor, that it's not going to affect their life at all. When everyone is saying that, and with you today, I think only the BJD and the TRS is outside, even the AIA-DMK seems to be agreeing with the other side as well. There must be some rethink, ma'am.
No. I just want you to tell me, they're all together for what?
They're saying,
what is it that
we
they
stand for poor people's rights.
How very, very disappointing can I say this is? Standing for poor? Poor are standing by the Prime Minister. When they are standing in the queue and speaking about the difficulty that they are going through, which we are very sensitive to, they are very clearly saying, yes, for once there's a Prime Minister who has taken a firm action. And the fraction that you're talking about, I'm sorry, I don't think there is an assessment of it. And I'm not calling all those who are holding 500 rupees and 1000 rupees, who held it till now, are black money holders.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
But let's understand, if 86% of your total currency which was in circulation is in the denomination of 500 and 1000, and many of which was not even coming into the circulation, actually making the whole process a bit more cumbersome, it was getting stashed away somewhere, that after this declaration, saying that they both cease to be legal tender from the midnight of 8th, 9th intermission, and by 30th December they should come into an institution, whichever bank be it,
yeah,
and post that go to RBI. But even today, how much has come into the banks?
5.6
means
lakh crores in the last counting.
It didn't even enter into banking institution. They were lying somewhere. Shouldn't it really be in circulation?
But they say it's coercion, ma'am.
What is coercion?
That you're forcing poor people to stand in line, and instead of they should be earning a living, the daily wage laborer is spending precious hours doing that, whereas the really fat cat is finding some other way, still using a black economy to make his black
That's not
white.
true at all. Any account which has money and where there is a transaction through a checkbook or check or a RuPay card, which mind you, after the Jan Dhan accounts were opened, everyone after a couple of months did get a RuPay card, and they could also take their money using the RuPay cards. And today, in many of the Jan Dhan accounts, I think the latest statistics is about 21,000 crores have reached Jan Dhan in this process. Earlier you knew what was deposited. If people are using their cards to take RuPay cards, and I'm not talking about credit cards which in the hands of very few people. Now, therefore, banking transaction, actually if you did see, and I'm sure you're active in social media, you see the various ways in which people have found ways, and I'm not saying that is got to be justified or condemned. If they found ways of carrying on with their business, it's going on. For us to think that, oh my God, these poor people don't know ways of, getting their money, on the contrary. I'll give you this example which the finance minister used in the parliamentary party meeting that we had. In 1996, when BJP held its national executive in Mumbai, the party had asked for 8 mobile phones so that it can be used. People laughed, saying, what are you doing? How many people in this country use mobile phones? Why do you want the mobile phones in the first place? And at that time, if anyone had suggested that there will be a digital revolution and people will be using mobile phones, we would have laughed. But what has taken over? And from then till today, we are talking about, oh, the poor, they don't know. It is today the poor who is benefiting by the digital instrument that they had. Whether the public distribution system, whether the godowns which are sending the grains to the PDS, message comes in your SMS through your mobile phones, not smartphones, mind you.
The response thing, then I'll hand over to the student union leaders. Response thing, many are pointing out, okay, so if we accept what you're saying, that you can't question the intentions are fair and the people are benefiting from it. But ma'am, you would admit there have been mistakes in implementation, that perhaps things could have been done better if the recalibration of the machines were done, if there was thought enough that, okay, fine, because that 4,000 and 4,500, that going back to 2,000 limit, this changing of things, it did confuse things around.
The changing of 4,000 back to 2,000 happened after a few days of the 4,000 was running currency, in the sense was acceptable. And once we started having absolutely, authentic reports from the ground that it is probably getting misused, we reduced it to 2,500.
Because it was getting...
Yes, we had very
not because
credible,
cash was running out.
No, credible reports of the same people coming back to collect 4,000 all over again, 4,000 all over again.
But the indelible link took care of the thing, but why reduce the number?
Because even by then, many people had already swapped their old currency for something new. These are swaps, right? You give your money, take money back. You're not depositing into the account. For those who are depositing in account, there's no issue at all.
No, of course, there isn't. No, crowds are reducing, but it's unsure whether in the villages things are improving that rapidly or not. Yeah, Rama, go ahead with your question.
Ma'am, since you have done your study in JNU, in Center for Study of Economic Studies and Planning, so my simple question is, did the government do proper planning before announcing this thing? As an economist, if I pose this question, and I have also heard the professor from your center, CESP, they are saying that there was no proper planning, the government did not do proper homework before going this thing. So this was the thing. Has the government done proper planning and arrangement before announcing this thing? Because as an economist, if you think yourself, black money lays in different form. It may be gold, it may be liquid, it may be property, many other forms. Now the government says that now the poor will access their money through Paytm, by Big Bazaar and all these things. But we know that the people who go to Big Bazaar and they access the Paytm service, they are the rich. So this is my question, whether the...
No, I'm glad you asked this question. I'll tell you there. The government is not looking at this as the only source of tracking black money. If you would have noticed, since the time this government came into place, the first decision the cabinet took was to form the SIT, which was lying pending for 3 years, even after Supreme Court had said for the government then to form the SIT. We formed it as the first decision. And after that, did we wait only for this? No. We took several decisions towards tracking black money abroad and black money in this country. Black money abroad, we made sure that we tied up with many of the countries which the previous government had also started, and they had also obtained lists from different countries of people who have accounts abroad. Now, when you have accounts abroad and when the list is given to you, they don't tell you which among them have kept non-tax paid money in the account. They just give you a list of all those who hold accounts. Whether all of them are money without tax being paid somewhere and kept somewhere there or not has to be established after enquiry. So that process is going on, and once the enquiry clearly gives us evidence to believe that there is somebody who is not paid tax neither here nor there, we then file a case, first of all letting know the SIT, and then only the name is revealed. So it's not just one step. Several steps have been taken, looking at black money outside the country, but looking at black money here.
Ma'am, which of those steps will stop further generation of black money?
Each one of them should.
All of them should?
Yes, each one of them should.
Okay, okay. Go ahead, Vivek.
Actually, my question is, I personally feel the government is partially considering the whole problem of black money. Black money is not all about stock. It can be, black money can be a flow concept as well. For example, when out of 100%, when 86% currency are in the flow, and when people who are mostly using and stacking those money, they may not be necessarily rich, they may be poor households also. And when you will suddenly withdraw the 500 and 1000 notes, which is 86,000 in circulation, 86% in circulation, then it is directly going to affect to the middle class, to the poor and to the marginalized sections of the society whose banking behavior, whose banking practices are very less. And the sincerity with which the government is discussing about the black money, it seems to me very partial or very discriminatory to the marginalized communities, to the poor people, and very favorable to the rich and the corporate class, precisely because...
Can you speak from instance? Or
for instance, suppose I am earning 100 rupees, my profit is 100 rupees, and I am reporting that my profit is 20 rupees, then that 80 rupees will become black money. And being a capitalist, being a corporate class, I will not stock that money, 80 rupees. I will rather invest in other things. And so that black money will be accumulated over a period of time, which is already in the flow.
With due respects, flow stock, hasn't this been addressed in this very case? Hasn't this been addressed? The fact is, some money comes into the bank and some doesn't. The flow is affected. The flow is affected. I'm sorry, listen to me for a minute. Isn't the flow affected? Yes or no? It is affected. The flow is affected. If there is a flow, you'll know where to track it. If it's not flowing and if it's held somewhere, held for some reason you do not know, and it is getting accumulated probably through real estate transactions where 50% is taken as cash. This amount might vary. Some places it is 70, some places 50. 50 is taken as cash, 50 is taken as check. Isn't that 50 adding to that stock? The flow going into the stock? So you can't really draw that line between stock and flow and accuse the government of saying, oh my God, you're not looking at the flow, you're looking at the stock. They're both interlinked. Okay. First thing, I missed out on answering one thing about what you asked. Government could have been prepared much better. We have done our preparation maximum best, and on a scale of this magnitude, where the Indian currency has 500 and 1000 denomination to the extent of 86, which is what we are repeatedly saying. To get back that amount of cash back into circulation is not going to be pre-planned so much to the extent that much before you announce this program, you come with that money ready in the retail banks and give a sense of, oh my God, why all this is happening? Is there something going? I mean, people are sharp. They obviously going to read what is going to happen.
I have a question, not a typical question which is usually comes to you. First is an observation, like to kill a man-eater tiger, the whole forest was burned to the ashes. Yes, you are rightly saying that yes, there has been steps taken by the government of the day since 2014 and before it, of course. But yeah, I want to talk from the side of little far. That is the finance capital. The finance capital has entered our economy. They are moving their money since the government has been formed. The limit was, upper limit was 60,000 rupees dollar, which you can transfer to the foreign accounts. Now, step by step, it has been increased to 2,50,000 rupees dollar. Why this? Second, the money you are talking about. I belong to the marginalized section. I belong to the grassroots, so I'll raise the question because the 60% or 55% population of this country does not use rupee or any kind of ATM card. They don't use any, because if I'm a vegetable vendor, I won't use any ATM card. I won't use any account, even though government has provided me an account. So what about those people? Were those people being punished by the government that you are not part of our economy, banking economy, therefore we are going to punish you? So what kind of system this has been created? And the last point I want to raise, last point I want to raise, like the 2,000 rupees note. I was talking to the third highest position RBI person. He was telling me that yes, the action is good. Even I say action is good, but the 2,000 rupees note came earlier than 500 rupees. That is kind of idiotic, I think, because you don't have 100 rupees note in circulation. So how will you change the 2,000 rupees? There's news are coming that in rural area nobody is going to use their ATMs because they know there are only 2,000 rupees not there. So simple is, like my question is from the marginalized section, the informal economy.
Many of our MPs, even if you want to exclude me, many of our MPs are also from the marginalized sections.
And that can be done.
All right.
Symbolic representation.
Excuse me, are you undermining the importance of Indian electorate? Reserved sections are there. Yes. SCs, STs, minorities, whether from one party or other, they're all there. Are you saying the constitutional provision is a propaganda? Reservation is a propaganda? I mean, excuse me.
Constitution is not propaganda.
Reservation comes from the constitution.
Ma'am, you are not talking about those people whom I'm trying to represent. Those people who are part of the informal economy, who are either ready wala, doodh wala, they don't do Paytm, they don't do any.
No, wait a minute.
Rupee card.
No, wait
a minute. They don't do. And for an example, ma'am, there is a jhuggi near to JNU. मैं वहाँ जाकर आया. I found that those people has earning of more than 2,50,000.
You should have some time for others to say answers, you know. Your observations are important. Your observations are important, but so should others' viewpoint, yeah? Where did you give me a chance to reply? You seem to be taking the mic to tell me, no, sorry, you don't know anything, we know everything. There are members. I'll just answer him and come back.
Go ahead, yeah.
I'll just answer him and come back to you, please.
Yeah, sure.
There are members of parliament who are elected and who come from, if I understand your language right, marginalized sections.
That doesn't matter to me. If it is serving the interest of the...
Excuse me, you seem to be refuting everything I say.
Go
ahead. Ma'am, please go ahead.
Okay,
he doesn't want my answer, he wants only to voice his opinion. Which is being a student of JNU. Which is being a student of JNU. I'm finding it surprising. Which is being a student of JNU.
Doesn't represent me.
You
as a poor.
Listen, I mean, you can't appropriate everything for yourself.
Let's just move on.
No, Sunita, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, you're
a student. No.
No, my point is
just
that
one minute, ma'am. 1 minute. You're a student. No, excuse me. Letter what? No, excuse me. Ma'am.
Gopali, one second. Let's listen to
Please.
ma'am. Okay.
What do
Yeah.
you say, letter what? You said something, letter? Ah. Thank you. Yeah?
I wanted the clear answer from
Sunny,
Yeah.
I think you've spoken enough.
So, let me
her
speak.
answer. Yeah.
Accept my answer
Yeah,
or not.
Exactly.
Accept my answer or not, but have the strength, conviction to hear somebody else. I thought this place was known for it. I thought this place demanded it. I thought this is also part of my answer. I thought this place always prided itself that we allow all kinds of opinions to prevail here. No, wait a minute. I don't want a running commentary. I'm sorry. My flow of thought is affected. I didn't stop you when you were, you know, pondering over all that thought.
Ma'am, shall we move on?
No,
Yeah.
wait a minute. So this gentleman requires his answer. There are people in the house who are representing these sections. You repeat your commentary. I should put up with that.
Okay, I'll
I think this gentleman is not interested in my answer. Please go ahead.
Okay, my point is whether it's you or whether it's us, you being in parliament, we being in JNU, we are little in safer zone and not much affected by these decisions. But outside, if we see, you also mentioned about social media, maybe you must be also seeing social media. We have seen people, more than 50, close to 100 deaths have happened because of this decision till now. What about those casualties? And the second thing is that because it's a decision taken by your government, you might always defend it. But the point is that before getting 500 and 2000 rupees notes in the market or in ATM, there were BJP not parliamentarians but Vidhayak or even BJP supporters whose pictures were circulated in media that they were already having 2000 rupees notes with
ma'am,
them.
please clarify
So what
that.
about that?
Okay.
Is it not a corruption? Is it not an internal corruption within BJP? How you talk about it? It is there in social media.
Let me answer, ma'am. I'm not refuting your answer, your thing, but I will certainly ask you to tell me with credible evidence as to where you found it. I'll ask somebody to investigate it and give you the results of it. But the fact remains, it was a decision taken with utmost secrecy. Because it is an issue with a great deal of sensitivity, an economy of our size, and our economy being very layered, where many sections are still not completely into the financial inclusion. And that is why we have started the Jan Dhan Yojana, by which we have reached every household and made sure that every adult gets an account. That has been there since 2014 as a campaign. Our attempt is now to show that very clearly we are sincere about taking steps which are required for black money eradication. And in the process, when we have decided to withdraw 500 and 1000, the 2000 rupee note had to come into circulation, and as a result of which 2000 came in, and after the announcement 3 or 4, 5 days later 500 came in, the new versions. 100 rupee notes are still there, and their numbers might be low because obviously 500 and 1000 themselves reached 86. But this allegation that somebody from the BJP had it before, somebody from the BJP had this news before, is absolutely baseless. Many of us in the because it's contradictory. It is absolutely contradictory. You are saying something that we knew about it and we wouldn't. These are things which can be held back by somebody. Let anyone investigate. I mean, this is without basis to throw an allegation saying, oh, you benefited BJP.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask you this, because politics is a perception game. And when one of the things which obviously is very, very sensitive, because we're seeing deaths. Now, not all of them happen, and they're mostly senior citizens. But does that, how are you all planning to tackle that? These rising number of deaths that are taking place, where the families are saying, look, it's because of this. They were waiting, they were stressed, they had a heart attack because of this. The child died because he went to hospital, they won't accept the note. How are you all planning? Because it must be very difficult.
As regards hospitals, instructions were given that they cannot send back.
I understand. Just the whole deaths, the people deaths, how are you all,
No, I see, it's very unfortunate. I will not want to go beyond this, because the moment I utter anything, it will undermine the intensity of the tragedy. I'm not going to say anything more than this. It is unfortunate.
Okay. Next question, someone from the back.
Hello,
Yeah.
ma'am. My name is Govind and I'm a student from Nepal. As you must be knowing that in
Is your
Nepal,
mic working? I can hear you, but still.
in Nepal we use Indian currency, 500 and 1000 rupees. After demonetize of these notes, many people are suffering from that. Do you think Indian government is taking any action to help those people?
Some inputs have come from Nepal, Bhutan, where Indian currency were almost legal tender within their area. So I'm sure the government will take a call on it. Yes, inputs have come.
Okay, ABVP hasn't asked a question. Please let them. I'll come back to you, Rama. I'll come back to you. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Abhijit.
Ma'am, I also come from an area, maybe not belonging exactly to that marginalized section, but I also come from an area which doesn't have a school, which doesn't have the resources, which doesn't have that kind of that kind of resource which normally people are having. I find that a scheme that people are having a good belief. Please let me speak.
Go ahead, please, Abhijit. Yeah.
So in that case, I find that this is a scheme which is very much important, which is very much necessary for ending a lot of problems to people, which people face. If you see the hospital, when in Bhubaneswar the tragedy took place, when 63 people died.
Okay.
In that
What's
case, we
your
find
question
that
for
it was because of this stark black money which was not accounted for, which was being paid, and because of which the compliances were not taking place and people died. In my town last year, because the kind of compliance did not take place, 18 people died in a hotel because the exact kind of survey was not done. When you have a better mechanism wherein the money can be tracked, and if you see the large number of measures which ma'am told, data exchange agreement, even 2 days ago that agreement was signed with Switzerland. So in that case, the government is taking a large number of steps.
Okay.
Maybe
the one thing
Yeah.
which, sorry, I'm cutting you down.
Yeah.
You may not have asked the question, but the fact remains. Let's take the example of workers in the plantation, tea estates, plantations. I have personal experience. Not once, twice I've gone till the border of Bhutan to see the halat of tea workers. I'm taking this as an example. It might be applicable for many other sections too. They don't get paid minimum wages, even determined by the state governments. There is a component that estate work owners have got to pay them in kind. If the total wage that they have to earn is 200 rupees, some amount is decided, let's say 110 is given as cash, the rest is given as kind, rice, oil, medicines, whatever. Whilst providing a house, providing electricity, but of course the bill will be paid by the owner, by the resident, are all part of the plantation requirements. In spite of us following it up, we don't get clear evidence that minimum wages is being paid to these workers, because it's paid in cash. Now, if only you can see the intention, this steps leading towards a less cash using society. That is why I'm shocked that, if I can use this expression, the so-called claimants to secularism, those parties and the so-called upholders of poor, hard working, working class, the Communist Party, are both together opposing this. Look at this irony. If only wages are paid into your accounts, for which the account has been opened, Jan Dhan, even if it is zero balance account, if only the account gets the wages, would you not know who's paying minimum wage and who's not? Is it possible then to track it and question the employer? No, we don't want that. I'm shocked. So-called secular parties and communist parties are together opposing this. It's going to help the poor. You get your payment in your accounts.
Ma'am, the communists are relying on Kaushik Basu's statement, who is the chief economic advisor of the World Bank.
Okay.
He also says the corruption was
next
legalized.
question.
Madam Minister, if I could shift gears, to ask you something about your career. In the US, a new president has been elected who's had several decades of experience in the corporate sector. And so many comments have been made, both in approving and disapproving terms, of how that qualifies him or does not qualify him enough to occupy a political position. Given that you're someone who had several years of experience in the corporate sector before you moved to politics, what's your experience been? How do you think your years in the corporate sector has helped you adjust to politics and or helped you in any way? Thank
and
you.
mind you, before that, it
Thank
is
you.
important for you to say this. I went from a university like JNU to a corporate sector. All right?
Yeah.
That is also
Yeah.
a transition.
Yeah.
From there to politics is also a transition. See, what I have learned from being in the corporate sector is your work culture is more towards get yourself focused, get yourself your job description, and as per that you go on improving your performance. And the reward mechanism in a corporate sector, as different from what it is in government or anywhere else, is so very motivating, because you're rewarded not just for money, you're rewarded for recognition in terms of what you deliver, in terms of the quality of work that you perform. You become a peer in your group, so the rest of them look up to you if you're able to perform, just as you can look up to somebody else who does quality work. And quality work not just for making more money there, but even quality in terms of what you qualitatively produce. So that culture, which is a corporate culture, has helped me even now as I do my daily work to see how best I can reach out to the largest section of population, to see what is the input that I take from there and how I respond to it. So these are measurable, not just perception management. We are all poor, pro-poor, but do nothing for them. No, I can concretely show what I've done. In my own case, I can tell you what I've done, and let anyone who has a laughter or smirk on their face, please go to see my villages, where I've adopted as a member of parliament, not as a minister in the government, as a member of parliament, and worked there. And I would invite any one of you all who would want to come and see. And that is possible by any member of parliament.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask you, sorry, I'm bringing it back to a political question. What do you think, because a lot of the people, like I met the Assam Chief Minister yesterday after the by-poll, and what's interesting is he's saying that it's a vote for demonetization, and the Bengal Chief Minister is claiming her win as a vote against demonetization. Of course, the big elections are coming up, and in crucial areas. Do you think this will be a factor for all of you?
It will be a very big factor to distinguish those who stand by the promises given. We'll work against black money, we are working. Tell us where you have worked. Tell us where you made a difference. It's a promise not just for this country by BJP. It's a promise every political party is committed to cleanse the economy, cleanse politics from black money.
So you'll get the advantage of it, you think?
Whether it's advantage or not, we'll be clean-chested about it.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Ma'am, I have a question on the impact of this on the industry, because many areas, many states have a lot of revenue from the stamp and due collections, and there is a downtrend in the real estate industry. How do you see that would be impacting this economy of the particular states? Like we have Delhi, or we have many urbanized centers where this is leading to a decrease in the revenue of the stamp and collection duty, especially in the real estate sector.
No, you've touched upon a sector which is rather delicately balanced in this debate, because, as I said earlier, I'm not accusing everyone who's in real estate, let's be clear. But the practice in many areas when it comes to real estate has always been not 100% by transparent payment mediums, whether it is check, whether it is account-to-account transfer. When you're buying a property, whether it's an apartment, whether it is a piece of land, whatever, majority of the states are now struggling to make it all white transaction. So I wouldn't want to comment on the real estate. It is definitely going to impact real estate transaction, and the intention is that even in real estate we need to have complete transparency. People should have their transaction completely put through an institution, be it a cooperative bank, be it a bank of some nature, it should be transparent. So talking about real estate might be a bit difficult on this. But on the other sectors, interestingly, only day before yesterday, I had a meeting with all the export promotion agencies. They are industries from various sectors, handloom, handicraft, carpet weaving, it could be engineering goods, automobile parts, whatever, a range of exporters. All of them had this feeling that this is a very good step because it's going to make it clean, one. But segments which were dealing with migrant laborers, segments which were dealing with unskilled laborers for whom even today they practice cash payments as wage, they said, would you facilitate us having more withdrawals within a week so that we have to do it. In the interest of keeping their activity going, I will have to do it, but eventually even they will have to make sure that their wage is being paid for the workers through a transparent process. It has to be by accounts. So this 10 days, I'm sure it will impact payments, and as a result, some of them may not get the workers back this 10 days. But as it eases out, I expect normalcy.
Okay, last couple of questions.
The question is not on intention, the question is on preparation. So when you say that this was a secret preparation or planning, so let me give you this information to you that I read a news report last month. It was a Delhi, Gujarat Delhi, which was published in 28th October, which says that new 2000 rupees currency note is going to be introduced in this country. Before this announcement, which was happened on 8th November. So they got this information. And another information is the BJP state unit of West Bengal, they deposited crore of rupees in 501,000 currency on the same day of this announcement, just before, few hours of this announced by the Prime Minister. So this information was there to the people who were very much interlinked with the government. And another thing, when you say that people are happy with this decision, so what is the measurement of this happiness? When you measure the people who are standing on the queue and the people who have died by standing on the queue and the people and 300 children who have lost their life in Malkangiri district of Odisha. So if you ask their opinion, then they will give the proper information and their opinion. Now the Prime Minister said that you can share your opinion by...
That's a really long question, Rama.
PM app. So this is the thing.
Let ma'am answer. Yeah. I think the last part.
Well, PM's app has got its results. It's out there for anyone to see. Please have a look at it. But the point is, I still will say that if you're quoting one West Bengal, I do not know. I will check it up. I'll check it up. Listen, I have not finished my answer. If that is one West Bengal, based on which you're telling me that the PM has informed them and therefore every unit of BJP should have been in the bank, converting all the tons of money they're sitting with. Why didn't they do it? What are you telling me? What are you telling me? I do not know whether this depositing happened. Even for a minute, let us assume it happened. Listen to me, sir, I've heard you. Even for a minute, let's assume it happened. I do not know if it happened, I repeat that. From when an institution like JNU has used coincidence to become an evidence?
No, ma'am, I think ma'am, the opposition raised it.
No, the opposition raised it. I was there in the house that day when they raised it. We'll give answer, but they didn't want the answer. That's become a culture now. We'll say what we want, you hear it, and we'll walk out after that.
The Bengal part, they raised it.
The finance minister was seated there. He was willing to answer. No, we don't want to hear the answer, because answer will expose your baselessness. One. Second, did you talk about Gujarat paper? Again.
Even Hindu Business Line did, by the way. So it's not just a Gujarat paper. I just saw that. But that is true. The 2000 rupee note news was outside. Hindu Business Line and others reported that the new 2000 rupees note was
But let's say one thing. It's not just by the Prime Minister's announcement that there will be a 2000 rupee note, new note. He didn't say anything of that kind. These are processes and a certain protocol followed by Reserve Bank. They issue a notification saying this currency will be released. On that, anybody could take a cue and write about it. Oh, the Prime Minister on the 8th said new currency. Did he say new currency 2000? I was there listening to him. He didn't say anything. So that was the basis? Or did he base it on the Gujarat newspaper's media report? Prime Minister dependent on a media? No. So let's not distort the debate. The debate should actually be who is with, right or wrong, effective or not effective, perfect or imperfect. Who is with this fight with us in containing black money? Are we picking holes with black money containing steps? And therefore, in the name of poor talking, many of you all quoted poor vegetable vendors, poor milk vendors. They don't know. Excuse me. I don't know how active you are on social media. You be on social media or you don't be on social media, not just outside JNU. Please go and see what is happening in the country. People are adopting every way to make sure that their business runs, saying equally, somebody should take action against black money. And I'm glad he's doing it.
You mentioned the PM's app, ma'am. You must have also heard that a lot of people are talking about it, that the app and the survey, it's asking questions as if they all want approval. Like, I took some of those things out. It says, do you think each of the corruption, black money needs to be fought? So that's a rhetorical question. So everybody wants black money and corruption. Then it says, do you believe some anti-corruption activists fighting in support of black money? So ma'am, people are questioning that what kind of a survey is this? It's
Don't
not saying...
accept it. Don't accept it. Go on the road. I'll take it from you. Media has been going, inclusive of your channel and every other channel, to queues after queues. Hare Baba, are you put to difficulty? Are you put to difficulty? Are you not standing here for 3 years? Are you not standing for 12 hours? Are you not really? And unfortunately, no, nobody is getting the answer they want. They're getting answers saying, no, we are standing in queue, we are suffering, but it's all right. Tell me one program in which the television media, which showed pictures also, therefore I'm quoting television, let it be print also, who went and had 10 people saying, my God, what has happened to this country? We are not supporting, we are standing in the road. Who are standing in the road? Those who claim who are speaking for the poor, but who actually don't know what the poor want. If indeed they were speaking for the poor, please go get the information, which the media tried getting. I appreciate their effort. But they got an output which may not convince many people. But they got it from the places where they went. I didn't send them there.
Ma'am, it's a mixed reaction. A lot of people
No
are supporting.
way. No way.
So?
No way.
Mixed reaction.
You couldn't find more than one person in a crowd of 50 who'd said sorry.
Okay, final question.
My last
Yes.
observation.
No, don't say last. There may be another set of people.
From my side.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, but there are problems.
Sunitra, just one point.
No, Sunetra. I'm not.
Hang on, Abhijit.
I'm not undermining the difficulty.
मैम
Yeah.
मिनिस्टर का कुछ आपका
Okay,
कुछ व्यू हो सकता है.
नहीं, एक मिनट जी. I'm not claiming there's nobody suffering. I'm not saying in the first week people were standing in the queue for nothing. I'm not saying any of that. But to say that only that is happening, the government is insensitive, I'm sorry, that's not fair. Every day when the inputs come, people are sitting and taking decisions, and the next morning we are responding to it. Be it even on this Shadi clause on which Reserve Bank came with many conditions and people said it is not implementable. Are you really wanting to help people in whose house Shadis are happening? Next morning, the next morning, the rules and conditions were waived to make it easier for people who have genuine difficulties. We are responding too.
So ma'am, all these economists who are saying that after a great monsoon, we were going to have, you know, economy was going to do very well, and GDP figures are now going to fall. What would you say to them?
You know, suddenly, I'm glad to hear this.
Ma'am,
I'm
before-
an expert. I'm
No,
saying, the
still
economists are
before the
saying.
demonetization exercise happened.
Ma'am,
No, 1 minute.
One point in
Let
that
her-
regard
let her- let her-
even
let
the
her
same
finish.
economist just 1 month before was saying that this economy is going down. The GDP
Last
data
point.
which is coming is a wrong data, it is a managed data.
Yes, ma'am.
Now they are
Many of
accepting
the
it.
economists didn't even speak up. And some of them spoke up then saying it's all right, you know, 7.5, the government's data should be questioned, we doubt the credibility of government's data. Nobody really said, oh, you're doing well. Now, after the demonetization, the government, actually the economy was doing well, you know. Look at what you've done. You shot the tire of a speeding car. Excuse me. Where were you all before that? Why couldn't you tell me that we were doing really well, and now you come to tell me, oh, you were doing well then, not now.
Okay, fantastic.
Ma'am, last observation from my side. You have a right to oppose me, but what I found, this
Keep it very short.
yes, this government is a pro corporate government, which I have seen in your statement. And the last request I want to do, apart from this monetization, you are a JNU alumni. A student of JNU has been missing from 38 days. And we request you, not just a BJP MP or a minister, because you are a JNU alumni and you are a certain position where you can influence.
Missing for 38 days?
38 days. Najib has been missing from this campus last 38 days. And I request you, not just a NSY, just you are my senior, I request you, please do something, what you can do as a minister and as a BJP MP and our senior.
No, obviously, it's a very worrying incident. I'm very concerned too. I mean, first of all, I want you all to have one thing in mind. Irrespective of the party, whether you like us, you don't like us, leave it aside. Every government has a responsibility to its citizens to pitch it as well, like the way most often it happens here. Where is our... Sorry, an Indian citizen is missing.
Yes.
A student is missing. We are not trying to say, we know where he is, we will not tell you. What kind of an attitude are we having? It need not be you versus us. It is our government. You may like the government or you may not like it. It is an elected government. It has a responsibility to the people. And this attitude of, I hate somebody, so I'll hate the government, I don't want this government, you're seeing it playing in US today? I don't think. Hey, do you have a problem? No, do you have a problem when you hear people answering your questions?
You said
I'll answer your question. I request you to learn an attitude being a part of JNU. I'm sorry, I never speak like this to people. I don't advise people. But I take the liberty to tell you, you have asked me a question, I'm trying to answer it. You may not like my answer, but please, for the others' sake, stop giving running commentaries. Listen to my answer and protest if you want. But running commentary might vicariously satisfy you, but you're denying the opportunity for the rest of them to hear it. Please, your question is important. The answer has to be given. Not just this one, any question you ask is important. So let me answer. All right? And your running commentary undermines my freedom to answer you. That's not what you people in JNU, what we people from JNU believe in. Yeah. No, why do you say that there's not been any action? I agree, but that doesn't mean that the government is not taking any action. We are not able to find him yet, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean there's no action taken. Till we find him, we need to have action, continuing action to be taken.
Okay.
But like inside...
See, till you find him.
In Delhi
till
itself,
you find him hale and hearty. Nobody is going to be convinced about action. That's the unfortunate situation. Action is happening. And I hope sooner we find him hale and hearty and give it back to him.
That's a perfect note to...
I was just saying the other day when after the protest we were detained in Mandir Marg police station. Even Mandir Marg police station people do not know who is Najib, what about Najib, like what is it case all about. So only nearby JNU and inside JNU there are posters and there are certain actions taken by Delhi police. But even Delhi police other units like other than Vasant Kunj, the other police stations are not aware about Najib's case. Then how can we...
How do you say that?
Because we have faced it. When we said that it is our, like my name is Najib, the police started writing the name as Najib, a girl's name as a Najib. The other person said my name is Najib, then also he wrote the same. So it shows that how much sensitive the Delhi police...
Wait a minute. But that is no reflection.
No, that is not the point. That is not the point. Like, are you a spokesperson of BJP government?
I have a point.
We're totally out of time, and I think we should thank the minister.
I'm answering, but these kind of incidents, your experience, I've had such a similar experience, so I'm saying with experience in my mind. I've gone to the entrance of Tihar jail. during the 83, the non-year in this campus. I've agitated at that time. I was a free thinker, I agitated. I've had this experience. And at that time, in that camp office, where all of us were held, many of us gave names, Mahatma Gandhi, Kasturiba Gandhi. They wrote down, wait a minute, ma'am. Wait a minute. Why? Your experience is great, mine is not.
It's not about that.
Then,
What are the actions taken by Delhi police?
You quoted an incident and I'm giving you, in response, an incident again to explain. Again, would you give that patience in hearing to me? Such experiences have happened even to me is what I'm telling you. I am not trying to deny your experience, but that doesn't mean the police will have to immediately say, oh yes, we know about Najib. Last night we went and searched. They don't disclose information to everybody, madam. And if they're writing names, they're writing because you say it. And if they said, hey, you can't be Najib, you'll say, hey, that's my right, I'll say whatever name I want. All this happens in every incident. So let's please put this debate in its context, rather than sensationalizing it. We need to find this boy.
Yeah.
We need to find this boy. Adding these kind of things may satisfy you, but it doesn't help the investigation.
Well,
Right?
I think that's a perfect note to end on, and I just want to thank the Commerce Minister Nirmala Sitharaman for coming
Thank you,
here.
Sunetra.
It's a very brave thing to do because students are tough people and they are asked tough questions of everyone, the media as well. So I think she deserves a round of applause. So thank you very much, Nirmala Sitharaman, for this special edition of New Kids on the Block. Thank you very much.